Hello, everybody. Welcome to On the Edge. My name is Merryn Johns, and you're watching Edge Media Network, your go-to source for LGBTQ news and entertainment. I'm really excited to be stepping in today as a guest host for this episode, which is all about curating our favorite hotel and destination picks and what that means for today's LGBTQ traveler. Most of us are feeling a little bit more confident about travel again, but I do know after spending so much time at home, if I'm going to leave home and go to a hotel, I want it to be a really good one, something unique and something worth the expense. To that extent, today we've got a very special guest, Brandon Berkson. He is the founder of Hotels Above Par, and he's developed this incredible website to help us remove the hassle from picking unique accommodations. It's a collaboration he's embarked upon with Edge Media Network, putting the spotlight on all of the LGBTQ friendly finds. So let's take a look at Hotels Above Par. Well, that looks a little bit special, doesn't it? I'm ready to pack my bags to any one of those properties. If you have questions for Brandon, do put them in the chat. It's your chance to get feedback from the industry's best. So let's bring him on. This is Brandon Berkson.
Hello, Merryn. Hello, Edge Media Network family. It's such a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us, Brandon. I hear that we've got a really interesting story about how you founded Hotels Above Par. A lot of it's to do with this rotten pandemic and the explosion in digital media. The two were a powerful cocktail for you to kickstart this idea. Tell us exactly how it happened.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's quite the unconventional story. I've always loved hotels. I've always loved travel since I was a kid. In fact, while all the other boys wanted to play football, I wanted to play hotel. So I was a bit different as a kid. But anyways, I always knew I wanted to work in hotels and travel. So I ended up working in the front desk of a boutique hotel in San Francisco. And then that led me to travel PR positions. And my latest position was in New York, working at a travel PR firm that I loved. We worked with Nobu Hotels and W, and it was incredible. Then the pandemic happened. I'm sure you've heard of the pandemic. And it rocked the travel industry, obviously. And just like so many others, I was furloughed. And like I said, I'd always loved travel and I'd always loved the industry. I've always also loved magazines. So this spawned the creation of Hotels Above Par. One, I wanted to support hotels during a time when they needed love most. How are we going to keep them relevant? And that was a big thing for me. And then two is I always had this idea of creating a publication where the entirety of the articles fit in an Instagram caption before going on the website and newsletter. So I paired that with my love for hotels, and now we're here today with over 128,000 readers. I ended up doing this full time. So yeah, it's been a really exciting journey, and thank you for everyone who's followed along.
It's incredible. You have a really unique angle on this. I mean, we know all about, a lot of the search engines that take the headache out of, what kind of accommodation we could afford, how many stars, where it's located, how we can fit that into another trip itinerary. But you went from being inside the industry, at the front desk, to suddenly being locked out of the industry and looking at it through the Instagram account. What did that shift in perspective do for you to get you to understand what we might be looking for that was different this time?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good question. And I'm lucky to have had a lot of different perspectives in the travel industry. As I said, I was at the front desk of a hotel, then I was in travel PR. So this was my first time being on the editorial side of things. And what was great about that is when I was in PR, I was obviously pitching certain stories to fit in certain angles. But with this editorial lens that I now had, I was the creator of my own platform, and I knew I wanted to feature boutique hotels, and I knew the format that I wanted to do it in. So that perspective, and then casting it out to a general audience and seeing who would like it, who would not, then making little tweaks to it as the months went on, is something that I really harnessed in on perspective wise.
Totally. And when we think about travel, we tend to think about it from the point of view of the destination first, and then it becomes about, let me find a place to stay that I'm going to like and be able to afford. But you really did want to hone in on the hotels and what's really special about the accommodation side of things. So tell me why you are a boutique hotel junkie.
So why? There's so many reasons. They're my favorite thing in the world. And the fact that I get to share them every day with our readers and get to have amazing journalists write for us and share their perspectives on boutique hotels with readers is something that I find very fulfilling. I've stayed in so many boutique hotels. In fact, I think that I stalk the Mr. and Mrs. Smith website and Tablet Hotels website, because that's where you find some really great, unique design forward hotels. Design Hotels, another one that I stalk the website, and that all really helped spawn the creation of Hotels Above Par. And like I said, I want to be clear, because we feature boutique hotels. Yes, we also feature boutique oriented hotels. So there's a lot of bigger brands like Montage, who has Pendry under them. And Pendry has about 4 or 5 locations. And even though they have these 5 locations and they're part of Montage, they are part of a trend of these larger conglomerates really trying to reach different audiences through these boutique-oriented hotels. While it might not be independent and family-owned, it still feels boutique-like. And that's something that I try to really also convey with our content is, as long as it feels boutique and it's not a mega resort, we say no to mega resorts. Anything overly commercial, that really is what we feature. And that's what I think makes me a bit of a boutique hotel pundit, because I can discern through all of those elements.
So for me, I think about when I check into a hotel, a couple of the requirements I have is it can't be anything like what I could get at home. I want something that's kind of transcends anything sort of domestic. The first thing I look at is the amenities and the beds. The beds are so important to me. But there's so many ways of measuring hotel standards. And I mean, when I started out, back in the day in hospitality many years ago, it was really the star rating was based on, crazy things like thread count, or was there coffee and tea facilities in the room, and all of that stuff. And all of that's changed now. So what for you makes a hotel above par, literally, to make the grade for you? What is it?
So we do have an extreme vetting process. We make sure that they're boutique oriented, as I was just saying, related to that, and that they feel unique. We want to feature places that feel unique and have a story behind them. We don't want to feature your mega resort where there's no heart of the destination infused in it. We want these places to be redolent of where you're going, unique, boutique oriented, and that's what makes a hotel above par, as well as being a bit more on the upmarket side of things. That's what I would say our content really, really harnesses in on, those unique stays that have a story behind them.
Right. So it doesn't technically have to be a 5-star hotel. It could easily be a 3 or 4-star, but it has something unique that qualifies it for you.
Yeah, more 4 or 5-star. However, there are a few that will be 3-star, because, there are amazing, cool boutique hotels that, while they might not have butler service, they got really good service, and they've got really cool design and awesome amenities. So really upper 3-star, 4 and 5-star.
Right. And you mentioned the design. I love that was something you really made me think about, was that there is often a very architectural component to hotels that are special. When we think about the big box chains, they tend to be cookie cutter, and they tend to use the same architectural principles no matter where they are in the world. But the hotels you're interested in are often real one-offs. Can you give me an example of one of those?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I do. There's a couple. I have so many that I'd like to give an example for, but I'll pick 2 from our latest installment. So, as we're doing that collaboration with Edge Media Network, and we had a hotel in the U.S. that we featured in our first piece called the Garland, and it's super cool. And it's what's really interesting about the story. It's in North Hollywood. Is the owner is Beverly Garland's son, and his name's James. He remembers when he was younger in the 70s and 80s, when his parents had the hotel. They built it in 1973. it was a gathering spot for the queer community. So all of these LGBTQ plus celebrities who were outed or not outed would come here as a safe space. And he really infused that in the hotel's personality. He redid it in 2013, I believe it was. And it's become a queer gathering spot again with the California boho decor that's super inimitable, that's like redolent of, the 70s. And then he's also hosting the Drag Yourself to the Valley show, which is a drag show that will recommence in 2022, I believe. And yeah, he really puts the queer story at the heart of this hotel. And I love that. A second one is from our Mexico installment, which was published this week, with Casa Hoyos. And it's in San Miguel de Allende. Have you been to San Miguel?
I have. It's wonderful.
The most beautiful place I've ever been on earth. I am so enchanted by that town. If you haven't been, for whoever's watching this, definitely opt to do that as opposed to, I'm not saying Cancun's bad, but I mean, opt to visit one of these authentic Spanish colonial style towns in Mexico that really bring you to the heart of the culture, such as San Miguel de Allende. And Casa Hoyos is amazing because it infuses, colonial reimagination design-wise with a contemporary element that you see very pervasively in Mexico. And they have this rooftop bar called Bekeb, and it's got great views of the town as well as very creative cocktails. And Fabiola Padilla, the owner, she used to head Cosme in New York City, it makes it an extremely queer-friendly space. And she actually hosted an event for Ella, which is a famous Mexican LGBTQ plus organization. And she just wants queer travelers who are coming to San Miguel de Allende to feel welcomed. So yeah, those are two great stories, great design behind them that I think Edge Media Network readers would really, really like.
Yeah, that's a great collaboration you have with Edge, and it's really important for us to keep locating these surprising LGBTQ friendly hotels, because there's still a lot of anxiety when we travel. I understand you've got four picks in Mexico. Mexico is one of my absolute favorite destinations.
Mine too.
Definitely for some of the reasons you've mentioned. I mean, the design component to both, the colonial and then the modernist architectural traditions there are terrific. And in San Miguel, you're just wandering these little cobblestone streets, and you notice that people have taken such care to decorating their windows, their doors. I noticed the door knockers are really distinctive and something that they definitely take sort of like civic pride in. But where else in Mexico do you recommend, and how can you vouch for the LGBTQ friendliness of those destinations?
Yeah, so I think it's super important, before going to any of these places to really do your research, because, as a queer traveler myself, I like to feel welcomed where I'm going. I don't like to feel like I'm getting stared at. And I want the places that we feature in this LGBTQ plus friendly section to be a hallmark of what's inclusive and what inclusivity means. So in Mexico, I would say that two destinations other than San Miguel that I absolutely love, and I think that queer travelers will love, is one, Puerto Vallarta, because I mean, as I'm sure you know, it's really a hub of gay culture, and they have a lot of LGBTQ plus friendly hotels there, including Maxwell Residences, which is one that we just wrote about. It's actually owned by a 22-year-old entrepreneur who packed up from Canada, went to Puerto Vallarta, and opened up this awesome hotel. It's got great beach views, contemporary design. It's right next to Zona Romantica, where all the LGBTQ plus friendly bars are in Puerto Vallarta. And then Merida is the other one. There's this hotel called Rosas y Chocolate, and it is all pink, which I love a pink hotel. I mean, I have the best time writing about the pink hotels and featuring them on Hotels Above Par. So this hotel it's a small boutique one. They've got a great restaurant, and Merida it has always been welcoming to LGBTQ plus friendly travelers. In fact, there's been organizations there that have worked with Visit Mexico to really put it out there as a LGBTQ plus friendly destination. And it's another colonial city. It's really beautiful, lots of bright colors. And you'll see a lot of travelers who identify as queer being there.
And the Yucatan just got marriage equality, I believe. So
they did, yes.
Yeah, Merida is, I suppose, its attraction. I know it's only about half an hour from the Gulf Beach, but it is basically it's a beautifully preserved colonial city. This is what I understand it to be. Haven't been yet, but I'm going to go for sure. What do you see as some of the upcoming trends in travel now that we're slowly getting back into moving around the world again? What do you think we're going to want this side of the pandemic?
So I think that there's two trends that come to mind that I believe are really going to be at the forefront. One is I believe people are going to support boutique hotels more than ever. And the reason for this is, with this pandemic we had just endured and are still enduring, there's been a big emphasis on supporting your local business, supporting the independent restaurant near you, the independent hotel. And I think that post-pandemic, I believe millennial and Gen X populations are going to be ones that want to support these locally owned businesses, these independent boutique hotels. So I think we're going to see a surge in people wanting that authentic boutique experience that really gives back to that local economy or that local community that they're visiting. So I think that that's one. And then the second one is ecotourism. I mean, we saw this before the pandemic. People want to travel responsibly, and they want to travel to places with environmental protections and lessening a carbon footprint at the forefront. So there are a couple places that have, really employed that I'm going to mention. There's obviously many, but two that I'd like to highlight are, Fogo Island Inn, which is this awesome, super cool contemporary hotel in Newfoundland in Canada. And they have a program where when you come to the hotel, they estimate how big your carbon footprint is. And they measure it from, the heat used, the electricity, their airline flight, all of that. And if your carbon footprint is pretty high, you have the chance of donating all of that towards carbon offset initiatives that give back to the town and endure environmental protection. So that's really cool. You're able to give back there. And a second one is Casona Sforza, which is an amazing, incredible hotel in Oaxaca. It is really designed forward, and also it is extremely progressive in the sense that they want to give back to the local community. They've actually spawned a program where they harness in on sourcing everything from local areas, whether that's just outside at local farms or that's local vendors within the Puerto Escondido town where it's located in Oaxaca. So these two are just two of many, many, many initiatives that the hotel community is doing to accommodate these new trends of wanting to support the environment when you travel.
Yeah, I think that's terrific. I think the last couple of years has certainly shown us how interconnected we are and how fragile our culture, our whole ecosystem is. And I think this is definitely something that I would like to be more aware of is be mindful travel. LGBTQ travelers have always been brave travelers, adventurous. They've been early adopters and often sought out trends and destinations ahead of mainstreamers. What do you think our demographic is looking for in particular right now?
I think our demographic is absolutely looking for places that are inclusive. I think our demographic is also looking for places that employ diverse staff and, including diverse levels, upper levels that employ diverse members and members of the LGBTQ plus community. We also want to make sure that, while it feels inclusive, that it's not just pride marketing. We want to make sure that they are doing LGBTQ plus oriented marketing year round, and it's not just a marketing ploy to get people to come during Pride. We want places that are committed to us throughout the year. That's definitely something I think we're looking for in addition to inclusivity.
Totally. I mean, I started out getting involved in the travel industry about 20 years ago now. And I think about the marketing and the imagery and media back then about the gay traveler was definitely two young white guys traveling, going to mostly beach destinations or nightlife destinations. And there was really not much representation of any other kind of LGBTQ traveler. But in the last couple of years, we've seen a lot more diversity, a lot more inclusivity, thank goodness. Black, Indigenous, people of color, body diverse people, gender non-conforming people. When you think about including a hotel as a hotel above par, in the back of your mind, can you always be sure that all of those diverse travelers are going to get a warm welcome at those properties?
So I think that's a really good question. And, I do encourage people to do their research on before they go to a destination. There are certain places that we would never feature somewhere that outright bans people who are part of the LGBTQ plus community. That's an absolute no. But there are places in the world that haven't had as many progressive measures compared to other places, such as in Western Europe or, the United States. So I think that's important to do your research before. But what's great about this LGBTQ plus friendly section is we make sure that these hotels are extremely vetted, that they are beyond welcoming to the LGBTQ plus, BIPOC, and GNC communities. And we want people to feel welcomed. And this section is for you if you are, looking for a place that you can be 100% assured is welcoming towards all different backgrounds. I think this LGBTQ plus friendly section it guarantees that while not everything we post, we can guarantee is as progressive as these hotels that we put in our LGBTQ plus friendly section. And hopefully those measures will augment and these places will see more progressions as these years go on. But, right now, unfortunately, there's a few places that are lagging behind when it comes to equal rights.
No, it is unfortunate. I always hope that hospitality, just that word, will save the day. To that extent, I want to get inside your head a little bit. I know what makes me smile when I check in and when I check into my room. What about you? What puts a smile on your face?
So what puts a smile into my face is not necessarily the room, but I love a cool lobby. So I'm very into the design orient of a lobby and how it relates back to that destination. I want to hear about who designed it, about where all the furniture is from. Is it Kelly Wersler? Like, please say yes. So I do look for a really, really cool lobby, and that makes me smile because outside of the pandemic, lobbies are the heart of a hotel. They are where people congregate. They're where big conversations are had. They're where the start of so many trips happen. And so I would say that the lobby really makes me smile, especially if it's really, really, really well thought out.
Oh, you know what? I agree with you. I love a good design statement, but I tell you what, when I open up the door to my room, if there's a robe and some champagne, I am just in heaven. That's perfect for me.
Yes, me too.
Let's talk about money now. Does a higher room rate necessarily correspond to a better experience?
Absolutely not. I'm so glad that you asked this question because, I've stayed at hotels that are not 5-star hotels and they might even be like 3.5. And the service is way better there than I had across the street at this extremely, ritzy 5-star hotel. The service, I think, is really a big element of what makes a hotel, what makes it such an inviting place. So service, I believe, is above par at all different ranges of hotels, whether they're 1-star to 5-star, that's something that makes a big difference. And while some places might not have butler service, they've got a really cool design. They've got the amenities. So, I don't think a higher room rate really discounts having a bad experience or a good experience.
Right. For me, it's a little bit like shopping for an apartment or real estate. I've got to think about what is it I can live with or live without. And often I have to think, can I get a bathtub? I need a tub. I need a view. I need a balcony. I need, what is it? But you're not often going to get all those things unless you spend an awful lot of money. What's your can't live without factor when you're booking a property?
I would say that I can't live without... That's it. I can't live without a cool design. I geek out about design. So I know that's a little bit of a weird answer, but I nerd out about who designed it, how it relates back to the destination, as I was saying with the lobby, where it all sourced from, what's the inspiration for everything throughout. I love a hotel with a great design story behind it so I can geek out. So that's my answer to this question.
No, and there was a property, I remember when I talked to you before, I'm very interested in properties that didn't start their lives as hotels. They were other structures and then they were repurposed in some way. Can you think off the top of your head a property that was something else, maybe a bank or a lighthouse or a barn or something, and turned into a property that was for accommodation?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of my favorite hotels in the world, it's called Riggs DC, and it is a Yaku Strauss just really totally revamped this space, which used to be a bank that presidents used to bank at. And it's in DuPont Circle. So it's actually might be in Penn Quarter, but it's in Washington, D.C. It's centrally located. And like I said, it used to be a bank, and they transformed the lobby from these teller desks to check-in desks, and you still have that big clock there, and there's still lots of touches from the old bank that are, put out throughout the hotel. So I think that's really cool how it used to be a bank and now it's a hotel.
Now, we're ending our time really soon, but I wanted to give you the opportunity to give people a shout out. Why should they follow Hotels Above Par on Instagram? What are they going to see?
So I hope that you all follow Hotels Above Par on Instagram and our website. Hotels Above Par, it's different from any other travel publication. One, all our articles are under 2 minutes. So we really say that for the hip traveler who is short on time. And it's not just me. We have other top line journalists writing for us, giving multi-perspective lenses. And also, we feature boutique and unique oriented stays. You're never going to get a mega resort with us. You're going to get somewhere that really connects to the heart of a destination and feels authentic in its entirety. So if you like boutique travel and you have a short attention span like me and you would like to read articles around 300 words under 2 minutes, then Hotels Above Par is absolutely for you. Both the Instagram and website, definitely check it out.
Well, Brandon, after our conversation, I feel really inspired to look at travel from a different perspective, to possibly think a little less about the destination, but think about the experience I have through the accommodation. So thank you so much for joining us, Brandon. Edge and Hotels Above Par will be collaborating on 2 more curated features throughout the fall, and I can't wait to see what makes your list.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you to the whole Edge team as well. And to all of you who are listening, definitely follow Hotels Above Par. We love to expand our community of boutique travel enthusiasts. So,
thank you. And thanks everybody for joining another episode of On the Edge. Please tune in on October 19 when our regular host, Matthew Wexler, will return to interview Skylar Baylor. That should be a fantastic episode. Skylar was the first transgender Division I NCAA men's athlete. He's an incredible and thoughtful LGBTQ athlete, and he's the author of a brand new book, Obi is Man Enough. Of course, you can always tune in to edgemedianetwork.com for all the latest news every day of the week and follow them on social media to see all the breaking news stories first. Until next time, please live on the edge.